You got your first impression of Nick Sorensen. He sat down with the media as defensive coordinator for the first time in that press room. What were your impressions of him? I know he had an awful lot to say about Renardo Green, and they're going to look inside for him at nickel before they ask him to move outside, where he's played basically his entire college career. What were your impressions of Sorensen? I heard he's like soft spoken.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they weren't good, that's for sure. He just didn't answer my questions. I asked him direct questions. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to let you listen to one of them so you can hear for yourself this guy dodging these questions. It's like all I want is an answer. Give me an answer. Just give me an answer. And I didn't get an answer.
No, so maybe his first time around as, in a press setting, he didn't want to give too much away, or, he doesn't want Shanahan telling him to shut up or something. I don't know. Let's go ahead and have a listen.
Yeah, let's have a listen here.
Oh, he's not even at the podium. He's sitting down in the seat.
Well, yeah, this was after. I'll give you two of them, but this is the one. This is a very direct question. Listen,
Nick, why did the run D kind of take a step back last year? It seemed like in the Detroit game, you guys got pushed around a lot up front, and they climbed to the second level and were picking off your linebackers. What happened to the run D from 2 years ago to last year, and what's your thoughts on it going into this year?
In that game, they got us a couple times. We've evaluated that, and we're going to fix that part of the game and those type of runs. That's what we've kind of focused on.
That was the answer. To me, that's not really an answer, but whatever. I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's like I would have rather him said, "Hey, you know what? We thought it was partly scheme, partly personnel. We feel like we've addressed it, but we also have addressed it with some of the players we've added." You know what I mean? Something along the lines of a complete answer. That was a non-answer as far as I was concerned. Right. I mean, that's not an answer.
Yeah, he didn't. He certainly he illuminated nothing about why they might have struggled last year, and gave you no inkling of how they're about to improve.
Right.
But sharing strategy with the media or past team evaluations with the media really isn't the job. I mean, if he goes out there and he gets it done, on the field, no one will care about the quality of his press conferences or how, evasive he is about any one particular question or anything. The proof will be in the pudding. That's what really matters here. You said you had a second video? What else you got?
Yeah, here's another one. Okay, let me see if I can share the screen on this one, and you can see for yourself. Okay.
Do you expect those guys to contend?
Okay. This is actually this is a good answer. I asked him about Graham and Winters, and he basically shows his hand as far as who's the lead to replace Dre Greenlaw.
Nick, last year you guys drafted Winters and Graham, and they looked really good in the preseason. They didn't play a lot as the season went on. How do you evaluate their rookie year? And with Greenlaw out, do you expect those guys to contend for that starting spot opposite Fred?
We always wanted to be competitive. We got Devondre Campbell, another really good sign for us. The guy's been a really good player in the league for a long time. He's been a Pro Bowler. We're excited about that, but also with the development of Jalen Graham and D. The way that those guys play, again, Jalen played more of, he was a high school quarterback. He was more of like a safety type that played more out of the box, like Fred Warner did, that you kind of move in. So sometimes, with him, it's just making that transition. Then D has come a long way too. Now we love his play style. He plays fast. He's physical. And I think both those guys so far, what we've seen, they just continue to grow, and want to see them compete once we get to these next couple of weeks and then into training camp.
Nick,
so that's actually a good answer, because he kind of gave us something there. It's like, hey, Devondre Campbell is kind of the guy. You know what I mean? They brought him in to be the guy, and they view him as the guy. And not that the other guys don't have a shot, but you know what I'm saying? It's like he's
right
there. He's getting the first go around. Here's the other one. There's one other I wanted to show. Go ahead.
I do know this too, that Sorensen, there's only one guy that's got to walk away liking that first press conference of his, and it's Kyle Shanahan, right? Like that's the only that he's really playing to an audience of one more than anything else. By the way, I don't know if it's the position or the angle right there.
What is it that
Larry, is this the longest neck since Merton Hanks was on the team? This man looks like he's 15%, like neck is 15% of his height. That's a long neck.
What if that'd been my question, Nick? Do you come from a long lineage of long-necked people? Because you seem like you have a very long neck.
Is it Is it hard to buy turtlenecks?
Yeah. Does the mock turtleneck make you look crazy? All right, here we go. Here's another one.
Nick, you're a first-time coordinator. What is it that you think got you this job?
I think you'd have to ask Kyle and John and ownership. I think I was here. I understand the defense, familiarity with it, with the guys, and how we play, what's expected. I think we all know what we expect out of the defense and our team. So probably have to ask Kyle about that.
All right, so he kind of begged off that one, and then he kind of wound up answering it anyway, which is, it doesn't necessarily inspire tons of confidence. I was here. I know the defense. I know the guys.
I was in the room.
I was in the room when they were looking for a guy, and I happened to know the guys and know the defense. In a way, he kind of answered it directly because that is the reason he got the job. Most likely is that the players like him, the players wanted him, and they wanted continuity. They didn't want to bring in another guy from the outside, force him to coach a scheme he's doesn't know. They brought in Brandon Staley, but they didn't make him the defensive coordinator. Why? Because he doesn't run their scheme. He runs a different scheme. And it's one thing to say, Brandon, come on in here and put another set of eyes on this and be kind of a jack of all trades. And I almost feel like Brandon Staley's there in case this whole thing falls apart, because Staley's actually done it at a pretty high level and had success. Where Sorensen has never been a coordinator. But I think Sorensen's answer was accurate. One, he said, hey, you got to ask Kyle and John, which is a little bit of a beg out, cop out kind of a thing to say. Of course, why you think you got it. Of course, I can get the definitive word from them. I'm asking you why you think you got this job. And then after he said his initial thing, he came back with, well, I was there. I know the defense. I know the players. So I think that's really it. That's probably the answer. So,
well, I don't think we need to be that worried about an opening press conference any more than we need to be worried about, a completion percentage from the first day of training camp. But yeah, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
It wasn't Jim Tom Sula. People have said, oh, he sounds like Jim Tom Sula. No, he didn't.
No.
Jim Tom Sula sounded like a fish out of water. This guy did not sound like a fish out of water.
When he got to talking about Renardo Green going inside first, is that a, hey, Womack, you're gonna have trouble making this roster if you don't have a really good camp?
Well, anytime you're adding guys to the mix, they have 8 or 9 legitimate corners. And I know they're only going with 5. So that means 3 of those guys, are going to have to beat it. And it's probably not going to be Renardo Green, right? He's probably going to make the team because he was the second-round pick. So, yeah, Womack's got real talent. Luter's got real talent. Those guys, I expect those guys to rise up and start to play better and start to be a bigger part of this thing. Last summer, if I had told you, hey, look at Womack, look at Lenore, tell me what you think, you would have said, man, they're both having amazing camps. And that was true. And then Lenore went on and had a great, amazing year. And Womack almost was a non-factor all the way down the stretch. So, and he had a couple injuries, but I think it sounds like they want to go with Renardo inside and Mooney outside to start. We'll see how that looks once the bullets start flying, because I think Lenore's value is that he's become a very good hard-hitting tackler, and if you're playing the slot corner, you're essentially replacing the strong side backer,
Right.
and the base goes from like a 4-3 look to a 4-2-5 look, but you as the slot corner oftentimes are inside the tackle box and oftentimes have to put your head in there and make tackles against the run. And Lenore did an incredible job of that last year. Green's only 185 pounds and he's a willing hitter. He loves to hit, but I think ultimately Lenore will be that nickel.